So the president just made another call for direct payments to Americans, and he wants the money out immediately. And before you ask, no, this isn't about the stimulus checks we've been hearing about. This is something completely different. A separate payment that could be heading to millions of Americans instead of going to big insurance companies. I'm going to break down exactly what was posted, what it means for your bank account, and whether this is actually going to happen or if it's just political theater. Because if you've been following the news, you know there have been multiple proposals for payments, dividends, and rebates floating around. So let's cut through the noise and figure out what's real. I've analyzed all the details so you don't have to. Let's get into it. Alright, here's what went down. The president posted a message calling on Congress to send payments directly to the American people instead of sending billions to insurance companies. Now, to understand what this is really about, we need to rewind to October and early November. Remember the government shutdown? It lasted 43 days. And the main issue causing the deadlock? ACA subsidies. The Affordable Care Act subsidies, also known as Obamacare subsidies. Here's how the current system works. For several years now, the government has been pumping massive subsidies into the ACA marketplace to lower premiums for people buying health insurance. We're talking billions upon billions of dollars every single year. But here's the catch. That money doesn't come to you. It goes straight to the insurance companies. The government writes checks directly to these massive insurance providers, and then those companies are supposed to reduce your monthly premiums. What the president is proposing is a fundamental shift. Instead of funneling money through insurance companies, send it directly to the people who need healthcare coverage through the ACA. So rather than subsidizing the insurance providers, the government would cut checks straight to you. Then you decide what to do with that money. Buy insurance wherever you want, pocket the cash, use it for other healthcare expenses. Put the power in your hands instead of corporate hands. Now, I need to make something absolutely clear because I know there's going to be confusion. This is not the $2,000 stimulus payment. That's a completely separate proposal. The $2,000 payment that's been discussed for weeks is a direct stimulus check that would go to most Americans, period. That's one thing. This ACA subsidy redirection is something else entirely. This is a different pool of money that would specifically go to people currently using the ACA marketplace for health insurance. So if you're one of the millions enrolled in an Obamacare plan, this would be an additional way to get money into your pocket. Two separate payments from two separate programs. Don't let anyone tell you this replaces the $2,000 stimulus. It doesn't. These are stacked on top of each other if both happen. So who would actually get these payments if this goes through? This would specifically target people who currently purchase health insurance through the ACA marketplace. If you're buying coverage through healthcare.gov or your state's ACA exchange, this applies to you. And we're not talking about a handful of people here. Recent data shows approximately 21 million Americans are enrolled in ACA marketplace plans. This is a massive population. How much money would you receive? That's the million-dollar question, and unfortunately, the proposal didn't include specific amounts. It's going to vary dramatically based on your personal situation. Your household size, income level, current premium costs, family composition, all of it matters. Some people might see a few $100s. Others could receive several thousand. We simply don't have those numbers yet. But here's what we do know. The government is currently spending billions every year on these insurance company subsidies. That money could theoretically be redirected straight into your bank account instead. And I think most of us would prefer to have money we can control rather than having it filtered through insurance company bureaucracy. The real debate becomes whether you're better off with cash in hand or with subsidized premiums. And that answer is going to be different for every single person and every family situation. Now let's talk reality. Is this actually going to happen? Let's be brutally honest about the obstacles here. First, Congress has to approve this. And remember, this exact issue shut down the government for 43 days. 43 days of lawmakers fighting about ACA subsidies. This wasn't some minor disagreement. There were deep, fundamental divisions on this topic. So the question becomes, can Congress suddenly come together and agree on sending money directly to people instead of insurance companies? Getting Congress to agree on healthcare is notoriously difficult. This is one of the most polarizing issues in American politics. Second, let's consider the practical implications. If you're currently getting subsidized insurance through the ACA and suddenly you're receiving cash payments instead, what happens to your coverage? Do you automatically lose your plan? Do you need to scramble to find new insurance? Do premiums skyrocket because insurance companies aren't receiving government payments anymore? These are legitimate questions that need concrete answers. For someone managing a chronic health condition with established doctors and critical prescriptions, a check might sound great in theory but could be devastating in practice if it means losing coverage or access to care. Third, timing is a major factor. Even if this passed through Congress tomorrow, which it won't, building an entirely new system to distribute direct payments to 21 million Americans takes time. Serious time. We're not talking weeks here. We're talking months minimum, possibly longer. The infrastructure doesn't exist yet. Here's what I find fascinating about this whole situation. If you've been paying attention this year, there's been consistent advocacy for multiple forms of direct payments to Americans. The $2,000 stimulus payments, tariff revenue dividends, various rebates, and now this proposal to redirect ACA subsidies. There's clearly a pattern emerging. Put money directly into people's hands rather than filtering it through corporations, insurance companies, or complex government programs. Let individuals make their own decisions about spending. Whether you view that as brilliant policy or terrible policy probably depends on your political perspective. But the pattern is undeniable. There's a clear agenda focused on direct payments. The challenge is congressional approval, because every single one of these proposals costs enormous amounts of money. And there's significant concern about the national deficit, especially when we're already dealing with record debt levels. But here's the counter-argument. If the government is already spending billions on ACA subsidies, and you're simply changing where that money goes, you're not necessarily increasing the deficit. You're just changing the delivery method. The question becomes economic and philosophical. What's more effective, subsidizing insurance companies to lower premiums, or giving money directly to consumers and letting them shop for the best deals? Reasonable people can disagree on this. So what should you actually do with this information? First, if you get insurance through the ACA, stay alert to this developing story. This could directly impact you. But do not make any decisions based on money that isn't in your account yet. Don't drop coverage. Don't stop paying premiums. Nothing is law until it's actually passed and signed. Assume nothing changes until it officially does. Second, if you're on Medicare, this particular proposal probably doesn't affect you since it's specifically about ACA marketplace plans. But you still need to handle your annual enrollment immediately. Time is running out. Third, stay informed but stay skeptical. There are numerous proposals circulating right now. Some will become reality. Many won't. Don't count on money that hasn't been approved. Hope for the best, but plan based on what's certain. Fourth, if you're struggling with healthcare costs right now, look into assistance available today. Many states have additional programs. Nonprofits offer prescription cost help. Community health centers provide sliding scale care. Don't wait for a maybe payment when real help might be available now. Let me clarify one final time because this is genuinely confusing. We're potentially looking at two separate payments. Payment 1. The $2,000 stimulus that would go to most Americans regardless of insurance situation. This has been discussed for weeks. Not law yet, but consistently mentioned. Payment 2. This ACA subsidy redirection that would specifically go to people with ACA marketplace insurance. If you have ACA insurance and both proposals pass, you could theoretically receive both payments. They're not connected. They're separate money from separate programs. But here's the critical part. Neither is guaranteed yet. Both require congressional approval. Both face significant opposition. Both have practical implementation challenges. So yes, there's potential for more money to reach Americans directly, but we're still firmly in the proposal stage. Look, I know healthcare and insurance are frustrating topics. Dealing with coverage, premiums, deductibles, all of it is exhausting. And when you hear about potential payments, it's easy to get either really excited or really cynical. Here's my honest take. The fact that there's consistent advocacy at the highest levels for direct payments is meaningful. It creates pressure. It keeps these conversations alive. Whether any specific proposal becomes reality, the general direction seems clear. There's political will to get more money directly into people's hands.